What's up, everyone? In this video, I'm going to teach you the 3 keys to letting go. I'm going to give you that permission slip today to let go of all that baggage that you've been holding on to that's weighing you down and maybe creating some toxic cycles in your own personal life. Since I've learned these tricks along the way, I wanted to share what I've learned and to help other people. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Michaela and I help people heal their trauma and live more expansive lives. The whole point of letting go is to feel more peaceful from within, to feel more expansive or spiritually connected, to let go of these self-sabotaging cycles that we get in, which in turn manifest in more toxic situations to come into our lives as a test, right? If you've been doing the spiritual thing a while, you know what I'm talking about. There is this idea that when we observe something, that we need to tackle it, that we need to do the shadow work. Why do I manifest this into my life? And always trying to think positively, transfer that negative thought to these positive thoughts. And a lot of times what happens is we get stuck in the egoic trap, in the egoic cycle of having to heal or fix something. But everything that happens within this present moment is perfect in exactly the way that it's supposed to be right now. What I'm talking about today isn't anything new, but it does help me personally to be reminded of the core principles of spirituality and to help me become more present in the observer, in the I effect. So let's talk about the first key. My first key is presence. It's paying attention in the present moment. And this is so simple, but when we're stuck in the law of attraction manifestation, a lot of times what can happen is we become so obsessive about what we want in our desired result. We have this core belief that when we have this thing, that it's going to bring us happiness, and it's okay to feel the way that we're feeling right now. And you get stuck in this cycle of, if you're working in your career, you work and you work and you work, and you might not be feeling comfortable right now, but then you say, well, it's going to be okay because it's going to be different in the future. Or when you're spending money and you know, maybe I shouldn't be spending that money. So you have this guilt that's within, and you say, well, you know what? It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay because I'm going to be a millionaire in the future, right? We have these beliefs, and it's so simple, but presence is the answer to it. The presence, the hearing what's going on, the seeing everything within your personal view, the feeling, all those emotions in your body, to feel it, and not like, think about these emotions, because that's the egoic trap, but to feel it, to feel instead of even labeling it. Maybe that tension in your chest, or the tension in your throat, or the clenching in your jaw. This grounding practice helps us to feel more spiritually grounded and to realize that everything we need is here in this present moment. We can get so easily wrapped up in what's going on in the future. We fear that we're not going to be provided for. We fear that we're not going to have money. These are common fears. And the reality is 9 times out of 10, those things never come true. So to be present and to realize that your basic needs are being met right now, that you're not under attack if you're watching this video, and to be truly present and to be grateful for those simple things that we do have access to today. If you're watching my video, you're watching it from a phone or some device, which is a lot more than some other people in other countries might have. We have running food and water, and it's so simple, but in that present moment, that's enough to take care of ourselves and to eat and to take care of our basic needs. I'll never forget, in my early sobriety, I always heard the phrase, just for today. And what it was talking about was just staying in today. In early sobriety, they always talked about, we're not going to drink today. And that was something so easy for me to wrap my mind around, that I could probably get by without drinking for today. And I'll go back to my next meeting the next day. And as I started to gain a little bit more traction, I was able to open that up to other areas in my life. And I would say, just for today, I'm going to eat healthier. Just for today, I might go out and exercise a little bit. Just for today, I'm going to do my yoga. And what this did for me was to not put off into the future, oh, well, I'll start my exercising tomorrow, right? If you're trying to manifest your physical appearance, not putting it off until tomorrow, but utilizing the time that you do have today to stay here in this present moment. What can you do today to make that manifestation come true? And this in itself, instead of focusing, getting into that inspired action, will help you to manifest the dreams, the reality of your dreams. The second thing I wanted to talk about today is the observer effect. Become the observer, not the repairman. And what I mean by this is, as we start to become present and we observe maybe these toxic thoughts or maybe these toxic actions that we do all the time, to really become the observer. If you've ever noticed, your ego will tell you, oh, this is a horrible trait. Why do I do this? Why do I do this? And then we start to manifest and feel guilt, and we feel shame. And then what do? We self-sabotage by maybe overeating or using drugs or drinking alcohol, whatever the case. And then the other part of us, there's this battlefield of, oh, you're not a bad person. And we try to feed ourselves positive thoughts and thinking, it's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. And instead of getting lost in those two thoughts, what if you observe them? You observe those two thoughts and see, oh, this is happening. What happens so much is we become attached to these thoughts, and we think that they're real, and we think that they are within us. But really, we are the people, we are something that's observing. It's far beyond human words, but we have the ability and the capability to observe what's going on in our thoughts. Practice saying hello in your mind. Just say hello. I'm sure you hear a voice. You could do it a couple times. Hello. Hello. Now make that voice scream. Scream hello. Maybe even make it whisper. Hello. Now, pay attention and do this a couple more times to who is observing that? Who is observing me saying hello? Now, our ego or our mind is making us say hello, but there's somebody behind the scenes, this observer, that's watching all of it happen. And as we start to act from this state of mind, from the observing, we start to realize that we don't have to tackle every problem that we see. Instead, we're able to be more grounded and realize that this thought comes and this thought goes, and this thought comes and this thought goes. And when we get more grounded in that, what happens is naturally we get in the flow of being able to take corrective action without even really meaning to. Instead of trying to move from this egoic place of, I need to heal and I need to do this the right way and I'm going to do it and I'm going to force my control, our bodies are always leading us to act of a higher mind. It's just when we get lost in that egoic trap. Just recently, my daughter wants to redo her room from the unicorns and the pinks and everything else to skulls and blacks and whites in her room. And to me, this is super shocking. And my ego wants to come in and I want to say, no, you're supposed to be this little girl. But having the spiritual background that I know that the more I resist this, the more that she will resist later on in life or currently. And so I'm having to practice this letting go and observing, okay, what is really wrong with the skull and crossbones and the blacks and whites? Like, there's nothing wrong except my ego trying to hold on to this idea of her growing up and her not being my little baby girl anymore who likes the unicorns. Instead of getting stuck in this egoic trap of, I need to let her do her thing and express herself in her way so that way she doesn't, revolt and try to be more of a rebel later on in life. Instead, just observing those emotions like, oh, thanks for showing me, ego. Thank you. And allowing it to pass. And just like everything else in life, I know my daughter is going to go through this phase and it's going to fall away, and then she's going to go through the next phase. But the more that I resist and the more that I try to control the situation, I know, first of all, it's not bringing me peace, and second of all, it's chasing her away. And the third thing is to allow the answers to flow. Allow the answers to flow. Now we're present, and now we're practicing that observer's effect. As long as we stay in that observation of exactly what's going on, you can practice it anytime, but the answers do come. The synchronicities come when we get in touch with our spirit in that observer effect. All of a sudden, we don't have to control and force our way, and that's when everything comes to us. That's the whole point of manifestation in itself, right? Is to let go and let it come to us. Do the best that we can in the present moment with what we have, of feeling that energetic high, to feel good, to, just observe, and everything comes to us. On one end, I have discipline, and on the other hand, I have surrender. And when I marry the two, that's where we get the flow. So our dreams, our reality isn't going to come to us if we don't put that first foot forward. If you need that new apartment, you have to go through the basic steps. But then releasing yourself from that outcome or the egoic trap of thinking of how it's going to be different in the future, and just surrendering and knowing and trusting in the universe that whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen. And if you aren't accepted in one apartment, maybe you're being led to something that is so much better for you. I've seen it happen time and time again in my own personal life. I've seen it happen in so many people around me when we learn to marry the two, to get into that centered action and releasing the expectation. Things happen. They work out for us. That is the law of the universe. It happens. The other day I was having an issue. I'm trying to hold myself accountable to making these YouTube videos, and I was struggling with coming up with ideas. And because I was stuck in that egoic trap, I thought that I had to do this video. I had to do a video today, and it was going to have to work out that way. And sometimes life is in session, and we have to take care of all the other things in life as well. And so with me having that intention, and then I realized, okay, well, this creative flows aren't coming. Well, let me take care of other areas in my life. And I was able to let go, but know that I was coming back to it. And I took care of, my daughter and the dog, and I cleaned the house, and I cleaned my car, which needed it so bad. And when I came back to it, the video that I was trying to make was 10 times better than when I was first trying to record it, because it just wasn't coming out. Sometimes we just need those extra little experiences, or to refocus or reshift our mind to be able to really produce high quality work, or whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to manifest. The basis of this is nothing new. I'm not preaching anything that you guys probably don't already know, but I know for me, it's so nice and refreshing to have that little reminder, so one, pay attention to your present moment, pay attention to the thoughts, pay attention to your feelings and what's going on in the external world, and don't attach to it. Go to that observer effect. If you have to use that hello trick, do it as many times as you have to, and really get in connection with your own spirit. And 3, allow the flow to come. When it's your time to manifest whatever you're trying to manifest, it's gonna come. And I have confidence in that because I've seen it happen so many times for endless lives around me. I hope that this resonated with you. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe so we can get Spirit's message out there. And I will see you guys in my next video. Namaste.